Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers, a hot show on tap today. Let's go to Ande for the rundown.
United States Senator Reid is the Assistant Minority Leader. Today we talk to him about war, peace, and politics. Sam?
Thanks, Ande. And on the pundit panel today, John Cummings, Larry Mathis, Ed Allison, and on the barbed wire, it's Barbano. It's all coming up next on the all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Charter Communication.
Today's lesson, another reason to take the Gold Rush Club Card Challenge. With the Gold Rush Card, you really have 3 cards in one. Use your cash back. You still keep your comps and drawing tickets. Use your comps. You still keep your cash and drawing tickets. And with your drawing tickets, you could win thousands in cold hard cash every week and still keep your cash back and comps. Does your club add up? Graduate to the Gold Rush Players Club. It's the smart thing to do. The Gold Dust West, south on Keystone, east on 4th.
It's America's largest historical district, and it's fun for the entire family. Virginia City is where the West comes alive every day, from train rides to gunslingers. Your gang can explore mines and interesting museums, visit historic saloons, and do some great shopping. Virginia City is the ultimate in family entertainment, and it's very affordable. Come up and stay overnight in our hotels, motels, and RV park. Virginia City, the Wild West at its best.
The biggest risk your company can take.
Well, Barbara, you did very well on your interview.
Hiring employees can help your business get to the next level.
And your resume looks outstanding.
And it can also expose you to corporate crimes and costly lawsuits that can bring your company to its knees.
So, we'd like to offer you a position.
Before you hire another employee, hire the professionals at Employer Links. Call today to get our free CD-ROM, the top 8 risks of hiring employees.
If you own a business and want to maximize your company's potential, join the Retail Association of Nevada. Our membership benefits include the Nevada Retail Network Self-Insured Group, providing workers' compensation coverage that can lower your rates. That savings can go directly to your bottom line. We are an effective pro-business organization that lobbies on behalf of our business members. The Retail Association of Nevada, protecting Nevada businesses for 35 years. Call 882-1700 to see what we can do for your organization.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad, political analyst Ande Engleman on No Holds Barred Political Forum. Now, from the News 4 Broadcast Center, here's Sam Shad.
And on Nevada Newsmakers, we are joined by United States Senator Reid. Pleasure to have you here, Senator.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being here, Senator.
Glad to be with you.
We're now seeing the wrap-up of the war in Iraq, but we're hearing now that possibly we're going to have some problems in Syria. Are we going to have to go in and invade Syria?
Oh, I don't think so. Syria, first of all, is not a military threat. Iraq really was. They had a standing army and they were very, very aggressive. Syria, I don't think, wants any part of a military action. They've got enough problems with Israel. I think this is going to go away. This will be handled diplomatically.
I thought it was very interesting that we cut off the flow of oil from Iraq to Syria that they've been making a lot of dough on over the last couple of years, and I think that that's made a big point too, hasn't it?
Yes, Syria is also not like Iraq. They don't have a lot of oil. So I think we have a lot of other ways to work with Syria that we didn't have with Iraq.
What are your thoughts at this point on what we've accomplished in Iraq?
Well, I've always said we could win the war. The question is, can we win the peace? And that verdict is still out. It's a long, hard road to go. To think that this country suddenly can become democratic is wishful thinking. There's you've got the Kurds, you've got the Shiites, you have the Sunnis, and all kinds of variations in between. It's going to be very, very difficult to do. The one thing we have in Iraq that we didn't have in Afghanistan, the Balkans, and other places is potential wealth. Second largest oil reserve in the world is Iraq. I think we have to be extremely careful, though, and make sure that we don't appear greedy and use it for our own purposes. It has to be used for Iraq. The President said that. Secretary of Defense said that. Secretary of Defense and they must stick with what they've said. We cannot use those monies, no matter how badly we need them, for anything for our purposes.
You're an incredible negotiator yourself, and as you look at what's been happening around the world, North Korea comes to the table suddenly and they're prepared to talk under the terms that we have set. France and Germany are coming back to the table as well. Are you surprised by any of this?
Well, but of course, the North Korea, that's just simply not true. North Korea, that's all they ever wanted, is sit down and talk with us.
But they want to talk to us directly, though. Now they've agreed to talk with the Chinese sitting at the table as well, from what I understand.
Well, I would have to say that North Korea's always been willing to sit down and talk. The president said that he wanted a regional solution, which we don't have in the Middle East. But I think it's an exaggeration to say that suddenly North Korea is stumbling over themselves to deal with this. They've always wanted to deal with this on whatever terms we could come up with. And we're willing to sit down with them now. So the war in Iraq didn't cause the North Koreans to come over. With France and Germany, we have to reach out to them. I know there are a lot of people watching this show. Why should we reach out to the French? I mean, saying all the mean things they do. Keep in mind, we wouldn't be a country but for France. France has been our friend a lot more than they have not been our friend. And if we're going to have peace and quietude in the Middle East, we have to reach out to other countries. We can't do it on our own. The United States and Great Britain can't do it.
Well, we
it
need
has
their
to be
help.
an international solution.
But also, there's potential for them to make money there as well, correct? I mean, there are going to be huge contracts in helping to rebuild Iraq.
Yeah, and I think we have to be careful how those contracts are dealt out. I don't think that we should rush to have France get the first big contract, but that doesn't mean they shouldn't be involved in the process. I think the international community, especially the European community, has a lot of money they can help with. We talk about these contracts. There's a lot that can be done with the oil in Iraq, but oil in Iraq is not going to be spewing forth tomorrow. The oil wells have been sabotaged. Their equipment is old, and it's going to take years to get those up into full productivity.
But aren't Russia, Germany, and France all concerned about money that's presently owed to them by Iraq and wants to be certain they get their hands on that?
But I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, debts are owed. Iraq has the ability to pay debts, and I think that they should be paid. Maybe not in the manner that they want them paid, but I don't think they should renege on the money they owe.
Some of this was for military equipment, things that were used against our own troops.
Well, I mean, we can look at it piece by piece, but a lot of it is also involved with technical assistance in other ways.
Let's take a break. We'll come back and we'll bring the discussion home right after this time out on Nevada Newsmakers.
CTX can help you negotiate your best deal. We've been your home team advantage for over a decade. Call us today because at CTX, local service still matters.
Yeah, with CTX, you're homeward bound.
When you sign up for Wells Fargo Free Checking, you get more than free checking. You get the freedom to bank when and where you want. Wells Fargo, the next stage.
What do you know about the gross receipts tax being proposed in Carson City? This new tax will cost more than $30 million to implement, require lots of new state employees, and take 2 years to generate $1. It will create Nevada's own IRS, forcing anyone who's in business to file a state tax return 4 times a year. The new state agency will have access to all your personal, federal, and business tax returns to make sure you comply. Nevada doesn't need more tax collectors. Call your legislator now and just say no to the gross receipts tax.
At Sushi Club, everybody's family. That's what makes dining here so much fun. The sushi is consistently better, the atmosphere is great, and the service is wonderful.
Welcome to the bigger and better Sushi Club. Come in for our delicious daily specials.
When you're talking sushi, you're talking Sushi Club in the Independence Square Shopping Center.
Walk into the Cactus Creek Bar and Grill at the Bonanza Casino, and you know you're in for a very special evening. Enjoy the southwestern atmosphere of some of the best gourmet food in Reno. It starts right here with Chef Bruce Norman and his talented staff. From buffalo T-bone to martini scampi and peppercorn duck. There's fine wine specialty margaritas, and our pastry chefs create award-winning desserts. The Cactus Creek in the Bonanza Casino, 1 mile north of the university, where locals come to play.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Ande Engleman.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're talking to the United States Senator Harry Reid. He's the Senate Minority Deputy Leader, and we are very pleased to have you here. I want to ask you about a story that was on the front page of every newspaper, but it was very small by comparison with the war story, and that was last week where Alan Greenspan made it very plain publicly that the Fed was willing to put billions and billions of dollars into the economy and to cut interest rates further to stop this economy from tanking. My guess is, and you'll back me up or argue with me on this, is that that would be the biggest story on the planet if it weren't for the war.
It would be a big story, and I think that we have a number of things that we need to look at. First of all, we're the only remaining superpower in the world. We have to be very, very careful how we handle our superpower, and that is, that's why I feel so, I think it's so necessary that we reach out to the world community and not appear that we're, as we are, the bully on the block. We have to have countries recognize that we are the country for which people think we stand for, freedom and liberty, and not a bully. I think that it's important that we focus on this economy, which is tanked. The economy's in deep trouble.
And you were the first one to come out and say that publicly on national television.
And we have, you know, we have to do something about it. We've lost a $7.2 trillion surplus. We now are spending, we'll have the largest deficit in the history of the world this year.
And that was a potential surplus over the next 10 years.
No, it was an actual surplus if things kept going the way they were. And we, you know, this wasn't make-believe. We retired the debt 4 years in a row.
Right.
We were being criticized for retiring the debt too quickly.
But we didn't have that money sitting in the bank. That was what we were going to accumulate over the next 10 years or so.
Oh no, yeah, I mean, we didn't have 10 years in the bank, but if we'd left things alone, it would have been there. What we did, we had a huge tax cut that took away our money. The deficit, where did it go? About 25% of it has gone to war activities. The rest of it has gone to tax cuts and bad economic policy. And no beating around the bush there. And I don't mean President Bush. So I think we have to recognize we have an economy that's in trouble. And I personally believe, as do the American people, there's a poll just a few days ago that said the American people don't think we should have a tax cut right now. But President Bush is still pushing for a tax cut. Where does that tax cut go? We all know it goes to wealthy. Most of it goes to dividends. And what does that do? I had Bob McGowan, the county assessor, come back to Washington and tell me, be careful on those dividends because it will hurt our ability in the state to raise money with our bonds for building sewers and roads and schools and those kinds of things. So we've got an economy that's in big trouble, and this administration has to recognize that.
And actually, this is an area that Sam and I don't agree on. We argue about this. I see it as sending my daughter out with a credit card, not knowing what the bill will be, while at the same time asking my employer to cut my pay. I mean, less income with more that you would have to spend. And I think a lot of Americans view it that way, that they couldn't run their household that way.
Ande, I'm very basic, maybe old-fashioned. I believe that I personally should not spend money I don't have. You should borrow, people must borrow for a home. It's only a very few fortunate people that can pay cash for a home and a car. But I think we have to, I am old-fashioned, and I think this old-fashionedness carries over into how I feel about our country. I don't think we should be spending money we don't have. And Alan Greenspan came before Congress when Clinton was president and said the most important thing you can do is get rid of the deficit. And we took him at his word. In 1993, we passed a very tough budget. Members of Congress lost their seats as a result of having voted for that. But in the long term, it paid off.
We've heard from some viewers who are concerned about the money that we're spending overseas to take care of people when, for instance, the WIC program was cut out in Sun Valley, I think it was, area. That we're not taking care of our own people at the expense.
Ande, the supplemental appropriation bill that we just passed, the President requested $9 billion in foreign aid. We approved that. I was fine. If he wants that, fine. But we can't neglect what's going on here at home. 45 million people, no health insurance. Nevada leads the nation in no health insurance. We have problems in our schools. They're talking about, in various parts of Nevada, having 4-day school weeks. Why? Because they don't have enough money. Why? Because of unfunded mandates the federal government has passed on to schools.
Let me change the subject to another subject that you've been dealing with lately. You've been sponsoring legislation to get the airline's security costs paid for, all the way from maintaining the security doors on the planes through to what's occurring at the airports to take this off the back of the airlines. The airlines themselves, though, are having major problems just trying to survive. Do they need a new business plan to move forward, or are they just destined to go further down than they are now?
You know, Sam, it's easy for us to criticize the management of these airlines, but I think we have to recognize what Bill Marriott told me a week ago. He has 250,000 employees around the world. He said the perfect storm has hit travel and tourism. I mean, it's one thing, it's 9/11, and now we have SARS. People are simply not traveling to the Far East. It's killed travel and tourism. And the airline industry has done their best to keep up with the change we have. People don't like to travel by air anymore. You go to these long lines, you've got people taking your shoes. Governor O'Callaghan explained to me what happened to him. He has an artificial limb. It was very difficult. They said, stand. You know, people with artificial limbs can't stand when they have the shoe taken off because they keep their balance with the shoe. But anyway, make a long story short, it's difficult to travel. And so I felt, I was the lead Democrat. Frist, the majority leader, was a lead Republican, to come up with a program to give the airline industry relief. We passed on to the airline industry unfunded mandates. We said, here's the law, now you fill it, you fulfill the law. And as a result of that, it's cost them billions of dollars, and we gave them a little bit of relief. We gave them over the next 5 months about $3 billion in relief, and they, in my opinion, deserve every penny of it.
Okay, Senator, unfortunately we are out of time. We'd love to have you on here every week. We appreciate your time. And we'll be back on Nevada Newsmakers with the Pundits after this timeout.
Enjoy news and a hot brew at Tamarack Junction. Stop in on your way to or from work, follow the market on one of our 32 TVs, and enjoy some fresh brewed coffee and a hot meal. Tamarack Junction, your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway.
Nevada should have a tax system that is fair and balanced, a system that taxes high-end services for the first time, while giving families a tax break by reducing the sales tax on common household products and other major purchases. With businesses and consumers working together, we can have a tax system that is fair to all and meets the growth needs of our state into the future. The legislature in Carson City is currently working on a new tax bill. Call them right now. Tell them you want a lower state sales tax.
We've loosened our machines. We've given you the Gold Dust West Gold Rush Club, Reno's best slot club. You can win lots of jackpots. Play longer. Your points will add up faster than you think. Yeah, we're loose and we're not screwing around. See you at the Gold Dust West, south on Keystone, east on 4th.
It's America's largest historical district, and it's fun for the entire family. Virginia City is where the West comes alive every day, from train rides to gunslingers. Your gang can explore mines and interesting museums, visit historic saloons, and do some great shopping. Virginia City is the ultimate in family entertainment, and it's very affordable. Come up and stay overnight in our hotels, motels, and RV park. Virginia City, the Wild West at its best.
Treat yourself to a late-night pick-me-up with Hobo Bob's Happy Hour at Tamarack Junction. Enjoy a delicious selection of food and drink specials every day from midnight to 3 a.m. Tamarack Junction, your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Ande Engleman.
Actually, Sam has taken off for an appointment, is not here with us, but we have a stunning pundit panel. Let's start with Ande Barbano from the Barbed Wire.
I'm stunned.
Yeah, right. And Terry Hickman, president of Nevada State Education Association. Larry Mathis from the Medical Association. We welcome you for your first visit to us.
It's a pleasure to be here.
And John Cummings from Southern Nevada Community College. Ed Allison was supposed to be with us today, but due to extreme memory lapse on his part, he's not here. Thank you, Terry, for sitting in. We appreciate it. Larry, let's start with you. The Senate Commerce Committee is getting ready to pass out a medical malpractice bill, which does address some of your concerns, but I gather not enough of them. One of the things that came up yesterday was Senator Ann O'Connell wants to take some of the money that's in the Medical Association's reserve and put it towards insurance costs for doctors. Am I correct on that?
It's the Board of Medical Examiners.
I apologize.
Yeah, and that's all that they've accumulated over the last few years from license fees paid by physicians. And she's proposed that a fund be set up to help those physicians who have been hit hardest in terms of either not having insurance available to them or not being able to afford it. That's mostly obstetricians, some specialty surgeons, and this would be a subsidy fund administered through the insurance division for it. It's controversial, to put it mildly. Physicians are all over the map, depending on whether they will be a net payer for it or a net recipient of it. But it shows the complexity of trying to get out of the crisis that we've gotten into in medical liability.
I gather some of the controversy is because some doctors who, for instance, are not OB/GYN resent having their dues or monies paid to the examiners to be used for the benefit of another doctor of another specialty. That's what I read in the paper.
I think as with any of these, it's that if you become the source for a tax, there's a general feeling that the medical liability crisis, the loss of obstetrics and obstetricians in especially southern Nevada, is a community crisis, and you should have a broader base of people supporting whatever is done. And these will only be short-term, this will be a short-term response.
I still wonder why the OB/GYNs didn't support Senator Titus's lap dances for OB/GYN bill, that tax bill.
You know, that got some laughs. Actually, I view it as a very serious and a very appropriate proposal. That it finds a new source for revenue. It really does focus on a problem. I think we're going to have to be creative to get out of this mess. I don't think we're going to get out of it with any legislation, and there's no magic wand that we can wave over this thing, and suddenly we won't be 50th in having OB care available. We won't be 50th in having prenatal care. So it's going to be expensive.
I think it's wonderful that an ultra-conservative senator like Senator O'Connell has made a major suggestion to take a next step towards socializing the medical system. I think it's wonderful.
Okay. As we just saw, Senator Reid said a large part of our economic problem is caused by unfunded federal mandates. Is there anybody here that disagrees with that?
No, it's Ronald Reagan's new federalism coming back to bite us in the took us 22 years down the road.
Okay.
Ronald Reagan started the process of sending programs to states with money to fund them, then they slowly take the money away. And the states, as David Broder pointed out many years ago, which were once models of fiscal rectitude, are now fiscal wrecks, and it goes back to King Ronald Rex I.
Okay, now we have No Child Left Behind has now hit us. That's running us about how much more, guys, than we
It could run, it depends upon exactly what part, but No Child Left Behind is a 7-year process for schools who fall into this category. And only the first 4 years are paid for by the federal government Title I funds. The last 3, which are the major expensive components of extra school days, longer school year, there is absolutely no money in the federal budget for this. So what they are saying is it's now up to the state. One more time, we have the answer, but it's the taxpayer in Nevada who's going to pay for these changes in public education. And we have no say. It's simply you have to do this. But they're not willing to put their money forward. They're only willing to put the rhetoric forward.
John?
To do it.
Yeah, I mean, Terry's right on. I mean, you know, but we come right down to it. The real issue here is we're at the end of legislative session, almost. And we still haven't done anything to address the 27,000 new kids who are going to come into our public schools or what we're going to do about higher ed. I mean, it seems that we are content to keep getting away from the real subject at hand, the real problems that confront us.
I've got the solution. You make Iraq the 51st state and use their oil revenues to subsidize things like No Child Left Behind.
All right.
Well, I do think that, unfortunately, paying for things like the Iraq issue depletes even further the ability of the federal government to fulfill its part of these partnerships. I'm not sure it's unfunded mandates so much as it's the failure of the federal government to do its part in dealing with these national issues as they affect states.
All right, now Scott mentioned on Monday that we might have a problem with Medicaid lawsuits.
I think the closer we get to the line of barely funding required programs in Medicaid, which cover low-income people, most people in nursing homes, same thing with mental health services, the closer we get to that line, the more we are inviting a lawsuit that says the state of Nevada is no longer meeting its obligations. That could happen if we're not careful.
All right, now I was tipped the other day to a possible plan to get a tax bill out, which would be that in the Senate, it would come to Senate Government Affairs and be passed out of Senate Government Affairs instead of Senate Taxation, because that way they could come up with a 4-3 vote, but at least get it through. Whether or not
they avoid Senator Neal in taxation is what you're talking about.
Well, you gentlemen are all political minds. What do you think about this?
I saw that one coming. There are not enough votes right now on Senate taxation to get any tax bill through. So it's not inconceivable that they tried to pull this shenanigan. But the question is, can you do that and not break the Senate rules or have to change the Senate rules going in?
The rules are broken, and we'll be right back.
If you're talking sushi, you're talking Sushi Club. Year after year voted the best place for sushi. 11 chefs on staff to serve you. Better ingredients for consistent high quality. And lots of room, so bring your friends. Sushi Club in the Independence Square Shopping Center.
Neither rain, nor sleet, nor 80-mile-an-hour winds. Ankle-deep mud, black ice, 6 feet of snow, frostbite, or fallen trees will keep us from serving you.
CTX can help you negotiate your best deal. We've been your home team advantage for over a decade. Call us today because at CTX, local service still matters.
Yeah, with CTX, you're homeward bound.
When you sign up for Wells Fargo free checking, you get more than free checking. You get the freedom to bank when and where you want. Wells Fargo, the next stage.
Atlantis is cooking up a party. It's every diner's paradise. Toucan Charlie's Buffet and Grill, consistently voted Reno's best buffet by locals. Experience the Mongolian barbecue, new Asian station, and sumptuous exhibition stations filled with fresh entrees, salads, and desserts. Try the Friday night seafood buffet and Sunday champagne brunch.
Atlantis.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Charter Communication.
I'm laughing because the pundits are still going at it. And you're going to see more of it on Monday when we have a debate between higher education and lower education. And we're going to talk to Chief Justice Deborah Agosti and see what she has to think about this legislative session. And Sam will be back with us then too. Remember, if you want to write to us, you can do so through email at nevadanewsmakers@krnv.com. See you on Monday, and thank you for watching.